It is that time again. It is FOMC day, where the head of the chair on the FOMC, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, is about to talk monetary policy in the US. Now, these can usually be extremely volatile days, especially if something happens not predicted. So currently, the prediction and the estimation of what's going to happen is zero change today, and they're going to keep rates the same in the US. But there is a big clash of titans at the moment with Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. Let's dive into that, and let's dive into the markets, and let's see what may or may not happen. Let's keep it in a nutshell a little bit, because I know a lot of people are more interested in charts and the actual where things might move and not so much this, but these are important moments. And as you can see, Trump rate cuts demand versus the Fed status quo over recent, well, actually, when Donald Trump was even presidential elect, he was putting pressure on Jerome to cut rates much more that he's already planning to do. But a lot of people do misunderstand is Donald Trump and the direct government don't actually have a say over the Fed. It is a different body altogether, a private entity, and they are in control of the Federal Reserve. So at the moment, you've got Donald Trump demanding that rates get cut. And we do have Jerome Powell saying, no, I'm probably going to go unchanged for a little bit longer. He needs to see more output from the economy in general, needs to see more growth, better job reports, and X, Y, and Z. Won't bore you too much on that one. So the thing is with this is Jerome wants to go unchanged, and that is the expectation, but that's what we know. But he will sit with all his board of advisors as well and make the final decision going into this. So if he does cut a rate, that could also shock the market and be potentially harmful short term, as a lot of volatility would actually arise. So let's see. That is later on today. By the time you might have watched this video, it might already be done with. But we're going to go through the market. Fingers crossed, the market goes well for us later on this evening. First of all, Bitcoin, again, these ifs, buts, and maybes on this currently. Now, this pivotal area, which I've mentioned quite a few times in videos, it is vital. It is very important that we hold above here. Now, there has been a few deviations and drops below. Are we forming a bull flag here in the 4-hour time frame? That would be a bull. Well, that's considered bullish. So what a lot of people also misunderstand as well is we might not get the rate cut, but there's a lot more importance to these meetings, which is the tone of Jerome. The tone, so you got dovish and you got hawkish. Hawkish meaning slightly bearish or potential bearish. It's not realistically bearish. It's him going through his financial standpoint, but some of his standpoints will have a negative impact on markets. And being dovish, basically kind of bullish for a risk-on market, that is what's important on these meetings. It's his tone. So they tune in later tonight and watch how he speaks. Is he positive or is he negative? So Bitcoin at the moment is taking another slight pullback, but it is trying to hold this area. What we could be expecting here, if we do get the break of this bull flag and hopefully holding this nice support for now, is another rally back up at minimum, probably to the 108 to the 110s. What we are all after here, we're all after this kind of flat, aren't we? We're after this range. We want it to hold this range and potentially head on up into them 120s. That would be lovely. Do we always get what we want? Not always. We will see. Now, if we do get a bad Fed today or something really what the market isn't wanting, if we get a hawkish Jerome, we may actually fail this. We could come back and test at least the lows into the 95 to 94,000. And then let's just keep it realistic from a negative standpoint, and from a bearish standpoint, we could even fall further into the 90,000 levels before hoping a reaction in the market from there. That's Bitcoin summed up very, very simply. Then we've got Ethereum. Ethereum could be looked at as two ways here. Glass half full, glass half empty. I had these originally drawn from some time ago, but for some weird different time frame. Sorry, my bad, guys. If we come onto a respected time frame, 4-hour, something similar to Bitcoin, looking okay, bullish pattern. But then there is that glass half empty, which is, are we putting in a bit of a descending triangle, which will flash up here, which the outcome is very, very often considered bearish. So which one are we? That's the other thing. the way these markets are setting up in general, it leads us into the point where whatever is mentioned or however this FOMC goes today, there was a chart to suggest that that's why it went that way. Okay. So you're going to have some people on social media today going, yes, I called it one way or another. And sometimes if you draw both outcomes, you're always going to be right. And some people might have a bit of egg on the face. Oh, we've just might not get what we wanted. I'm a crypto bull for now still. I'm a crypto bull for this year, crypto bull for February and going forward. I think we're still going to get alt seasons and everything else. So I do want the breakout, but we don't always get what we want. Worst case scenario, well, is there such thing? We will see. If we do fail this and we go into a bearish type of move, then Ethereum could simply head back into them 2003 to 2400 levels. If it's a nice or a good FOMC for bulls, that is, we could be looking at a rally back up at the minimum into that 4,000 level, back to the pre-range high, basically. And then could we be looking at a breakout? But I just want to look at the bigger picture here. The bigger picture currently is a inverse head and shoulders. Again, bullish pattern, something that we're wanting to see. So even coming back down, testing these lows, could we come back, test the support? This could even happen with a good Fed. Okay, volatility, shake out the market one last time before a break above. These markets very, very often operate on max pain thresholds. How painful is it for everyone, short and long, right? How do they shake everyone out of position? And then we finally move. Bitcoin dominance, again, is looking strong. We are putting in still a rising wedge here, which is considered a bearish. But at the end of the day, until it's confirmed, it's not on, right? So can we head back to 60%? There's a gentleman called Ben Cohen, who's a well-known crypto enthusiast, and he's obviously got expectations back up to 60, and then a drop back down. It's plausible, it's feasible, it's definitely on the cards. Long story short, Bitcoin is gaining strength here in retrospect, where altcoins are still struggling currently. So Bitcoin dominance is a huge problem for altcoins. We've covered that on this channel quite a lot, but yes, it is a problem. So what we're going to be wanting, again, is Bitcoin to stabilize and potentially grow. And we want a breakdown here if you're bullish. If you're bearish, you are going to be happy to see that. And if that happens, I actually think we're going to get quite a lot of discount on this market. Again, what do I do in times like that? I've got dry powder ready. We've got money on the side ready to buy a proper dip on this market. I don't like to get involved in tiny fluctuations, but if we do get a proper wipeout, I am more than happy to then go and start buying into supportive areas. Total 2 as well. It's looking okay in many ways. We're rounding off here. This is the market without Bitcoin. So basically altcoins. We're rounding off here quite nicely. And we are still within this range from previous all-time highs, guys. So if we just head off onto the higher time frames, you got this range just here. There was the breakout, a really, really key breakout, and we're still holding above. And there is the previous all-time highs up, say, 1.7 trillion. So if we bring that back down, we're not that far away. You know, we're only, what are we? That was me yesterday. We're 23% away from previous all-time highs. No, I'm lying. 24% away from previous all-time highs. That's not much for altcoins, but we do need good market conditions. Also, this is going to be the first Federal Reserve meeting with Donald Trump as president. Does it matter? We'll see. Well, not first, but for this term. Does it matter? We will find out. Close that one. And then we've got total 3. This is a chart that I've done. This is excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin, by the way, guys. I drew this ages ago. I basically cut through the deviations and I went into this here because we did have that bounce. Pretty textbook, to be fair. Quite nice. Broken out, came below, bounced off, came back below, hit the lower trend, and then here we are right here. Now, I will call this a bit of an apex area. We're in a make or break area here. I think make or break going into February. What happens with the FOMC? Do stars align? Do they not align? We are going to find out. And then others, very, very similar, but this is a lot weaker overall than total 2. So obviously some of the lower caps and mid caps are obviously underperforming right now because it is just not their time. Keep an eye out on this chart if you are into slightly lower cap markets, maybe mid cap market. This is excluding all of the top 10 cryptos. So this might help if you are that sided in crypto and you're not completely maxed out on things such as Solana, Doge, XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and so forth. So that is just a little recap. This is not a video to say, look, we're going to be right on this channel one way or another. This is a market update going into a very, very, very important day with the FOMC. It will be interesting to look at Donald Trump's Twitter, in my opinion, during the FOMC. We know that Donald Trump can be very trigger happy on socials. He will just write what he thinks. Is he going to agree with Jerome? Is he going to try and put pressure on? In reality, I only think, I'm not American, but I think the Senate can audit the Fed, but I think that's as far as it could go. Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't really have a say on what Jerome does. What you basically want is the president of the United States to get the economy going, to get things moving, and that allows the Fed to make better decisions and basically cut interest rates and inflation if obviously things are doing well economy wise, and Donald Trump does play a huge part on that. Let's see, big day ahead. Fingers crossed we end up going into a really good February, especially for the bulls. I think a lot of us deserve it. It's been a long time coming, and we are still waiting for that actual confirmed alt season. Enjoy the show. That's it from me. I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for joining.